everybody, happy December and welcome back to my channel for another speed build video. If you're just joining us, then thank you so much for hanging out. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Sims 4 speed builds, gameplay, and all kinds of different videos. And I'm also going to be adding a few more other games to the channel, so be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what games you're interested in seeing. I have quite a few that I like to play, but I'm interested to hear what you guys are interested in seeing. So anyway, so this build is the beginning of my Home for the Holidays series. This is going to be a fun series. It's kind of a challenge that I've created for myself. It is based off of the traditional Hallmark movie, kind of. So I have Meredith Jolle, who has moved into this home with her parents. She's moved back home after going to the city and failing pretty miserably at her career as an artist. So she is pretty sad and not too happy that she's had to move back in with her parents, but she is making it work and trying to start her life kind of over again back in her hometown. And of course, in traditional Hallmark Christmas movie style, she is going to be meeting up with Christopher Winters, the dashing young man who lives in her hometown. And being The Sims, you know, maybe who knows what's going to happen, right? So we are going to play through that as our little Christmas series. It's kind of like my version of Vlogmas, because there's no way I can do a video every day. It just does not mesh well with my life at this point right now. So yeah, we'll be doing our regular speed build videos on Tuesdays, and probably on Saturdays I will be uploading the let's play videos of that challenge, and we can follow along with the story of Meredith, aka Mary, and her soon-to-be new boyfriend Christopher. So yeah, that should be pretty fun. For today's video though, we are doing a speed build of what I call the holiday house home, which I guess is a bit redundant, but okay. Anyway, so this is the home that Meredith grew up in with her father Felix and mother Sydney. It is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home that has a spare bedroom upstairs and all kinds of fun little areas to enjoy the holidays and lots of gathering space for big families. Felix and Sydney have not had any grandchildren yet, but they definitely have neighborhood kids that come over and kids from families. So they have the upstairs area, which you'll see in a little bit, that's set up for any kids that come over, because they definitely are very interested in having a grandkid of their own and little pitter patter of feet running around. And Meredith is not quite as interested in that idea just yet, but definitely this house is set up so that it is just the perfect place to have a family, a big huge family gathering during the holidays. And of course we have our big dining room table here that's set up for that, and we have our tree out and ready for the holidays already in the downstairs. There are a couple of different fireplaces in the downstairs, and I believe there's one upstairs as well, I think. I've been having so much brain fog lately, it's ridiculous. I actually had to stop taking the medication that I was using for my chronic illness symptoms because it interacts with a new medication that I'm taking. My autoimmune disorder has decided to mess with my heart rate, and so I had to start taking a new medicine for that, but then it is not compatible with the medical cannabis that I was using to control my chronic illness symptoms. So I have been they've been coming back with a vengeance in the past couple of months, and I am learning kind of how to deal with that all over again, and it has not been fun, but it also has created some significant brain fog. So I may forget a little bit here and there, or maybe stumble on my words, and I do apologize for that. There's also a few places where, once again, I have built while my screen recorder was paused again. So again, yeah, I do apologize for that. And how many times am I going to say again in this video? But yeah, I do apologize for that. So this kitchen, oh my goodness, it went through so many different phases. Those white cabinets that you can see now are just, oh man. At first I thought they were a good idea, but no, they're not. They're really just not. They did not look that great at all. There was something about the way the dishes look through the doors. It just doesn't look completed to me. I don't know. It looks like they're kind of like blanks there for when you put a real cabinet in or so. I don't know. It's just, wow, it did not look good. So I did end up changing those out. The floor is another thing that I ended up changing a number of times just because I could not get it to look the way that I wanted it to. I had a specific type of wood texture and color in my mind for how I wanted it to look, but I did not have the color and texture together. So I had to kind of figure out between the two which one was more important, because I did make an effort, and I'm almost 100% positive that I used absolutely no creative content in this build. So I do have all of the packs, and I probably used something out of every one of them. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I did not use any creative content in this build, and that's actually a first for me. And it was a bit of a challenge because I'm used to being able to just go and be like, oh yeah, I want to do this, type, and find, almost exactly what I'm looking for, if not, close enough. I would almost go so far as to say I enjoyed building better without the creative content. It allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and really do rooms and designs that aren't exactly my usual fare, which, I do a lot of industrial type builds and a lot of more modern builds, or just sometimes just downright weird builds. Honestly, I definitely have a thing for like cemeteries and wasteland type things. And oh man, people have been doing so many cool, I can't remember who it was. It was someone on Twitter did a maybe it was Facebook. Anyway, they did a hoarder house, and it was the coolest thing. Like, I absolutely love really just unusual type builds. So yeah, that was definitely a cool one to see. But for me, this kind of like, your stereotypical suburban perfect, 2.5 kids kind of, like, I should, they only have one kid, but just like your stereotypical suburban kind of country-ish home was definitely out of my comfort zone. So, but I think that I think I pulled it off. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it exactly fits the country. I guess you would call it like a modern lodge type of look. I don't know if it fits that look, but it definitely it's definitely what I kind of had in my mind when I was going into the build. So on that aspect, I guess I would say that I am happy with it. I have a habit of critiquing my own stuff a lot, so I don't think I'll ever truly be happy with it, but it turned out how I was, I guess, kind of hoping it would. So yeah. I had a lot of fun with the platforms on this one. I will say they have a bit of a learning curve, and I don't know if I'm just kind of an airhead or what's going on there, but man, you have to get it exactly right with like putting your walls up and making your house foundation and stuff, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, they are so much fun. I love making these little recessed rooms for, you know, a den or a TV room, or this one's kind of a library slash den that I figured that Felix uses this one as kind of his, his dad area to get away from everybody. So yeah, I really was happy with that one. And of course, you'll see in the downstairs bedroom, which is actually Meredith's bedroom, I used one of the platforms for her bed also. So that's kind of a raised platform area. And it just gives it a little bit of a more modern look within the country home look, I guess you would say. I don't know, but it definitely makes it more like this is the room of somebody who has come back to this life from the city, and they have just a slightly more modern looking room that's a little bit different from everybody else, because of course Meredith is just a little bit different from everybody else in the house, and not quite as laid back, not quite as I guess as into the simple life as her parents currently are. Of course, this being the house that I'm using for my holiday series, there is a lot of holiday and Christmas type decorations in the house. And if you would like to download this build, I will have it in my gallery, and you know, you can take out the holiday items or you can replace them with another holiday, you know, whichever one you prefer to celebrate this time of year. Or maybe you want to have a Valentine's Day house or a Halloween house. Or Halloween houses are always a win in my book. So if you do that, be sure to let me know because I'd really like to see it. But yeah, being that this is for my special holiday themed series that we're doing, I decided we would go ahead and just make this one absolutely 100% all holiday themed and just pretend, even though, of course, I do have the seasons pack, and I'm not sure, I don't think it is winter currently. I think we're in fall right now. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and just pretend that it is always Christmas time here and that time doesn't quite go on a Sims timeline, but on my own personal timeline. So, yeah. And I think we're getting just about to the end of decorating the downstairs of the house. There are a few more things that I add here and there, but that's just about it. And of course, we are doing the exterior walls now, and I did change that quite a few times. I wasn't too sure. I had an idea in my head, but I wasn't too sure exactly how much of each one I wanted. So I knew I wanted the stone and the wood, but I started out with the stone taking up more of the exterior of the home than the wood, and it just didn't look right. So I did end up switching that around to make it a little bit more of the wood being the feature part of the exterior of the house. And I also changed the windows out at the end of this build to be a little bit more modern and just to look a little bit better with that wood. I guess that is one complaint that I do have about the not using the creative content things, is that a lot of times it's really hard to find wood textures that go together, say like on furniture and flooring and all kinds of things. It just seems like it's impossible to find things that are kind of the same tone of wood, which is kind of frustrating, but I think I made it work okay in the end. Hopefully I did. This upstairs bathroom is another area that went through quite a few different transformations before reaching its final form. But yeah, there were just a lot of ideas that were floating around in my head for this one, and I went through just about all of them, but I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. I ended up making the shower pretty large on this one, and it's such a open air jungly kind of feel to it. Not exactly jungly, I'm not sure what I would say, but it's definitely different from a lot of the other showers that I've built in the past, and definitely something that I'm going to be trying a lot more of in the future. It may seem like a little bit much to have 3 bathrooms and 3 bedrooms in the house, especially since there are currently only 3 people living in the house, and before Meredith moved back, it was just her parents living in the home. However, I feel like the bathrooms are fitting, I guess you would say, because they have the ensuite for the parents' bedroom, and then they have the other upstairs bathroom for the guests in the guest bedroom to use, or whoever might be using the upstairs areas without having to go into their parents' bedroom. And of course, there is the downstairs bedroom, the downstairs bathroom, which, you know, anybody who is in the downstairs area, maybe for dinner, or even that Meredith can use since it is pretty close to her bedroom. So that one's just kind of your standard downstairs bathroom. I could have made that one a half bath, and of course if you want to, you can go ahead and change out any areas that I have done in the home if you decide to download it. So maybe you can get rid of one of the bathrooms and turn it into a bedroom, or turn it into an office, or, you know, whatever you would prefer to do with this. But I felt like the 3 bathrooms were okay in this one. And here is where I go ahead and change this into the larger shower, and I absolutely, like, I would love to have a shower this big. That would be amazing. The shower here is another area where I did change out the stone wall and the floor tiling quite a few times, and I also changed the pillars that I used for this one a number of times too, because I kept having different ideas, and that is definitely I guess you would say that's an issue for me, that once I have an idea that I like, even, I can't stick with it. I'm always like, oh yeah, but when we could do this and then we could do that, and I need to just pick something and just go with it, but that's just not how I work at all. So, yeah, but the pillars I ended up going with, you can see them over the roof area. So, if you're playing with walls down or half walls, you'll probably be able to see those. So if that bothers you, you can always just delete those. But if you're playing walls up, they'll the tops will disappear into the ceiling and you won't be able to see that. But I think that those pillars ended up looking a little bit better than the wood ones, so I did end up going with those. So this is where the office, or I guess more of a communal area, starts to come together in the upstairs. And it was definitely an area that was used a lot when Meredith was younger. Maybe she hung out here with her friends from high school, and Sydney uses the area, like I said, as an office, but she also likes to keep um, fun decorative items there the different kids in the family have sent to her or that they've brought over to her as gifts. It's kind of, once again, a nod to the fact that Sydney definitely is ready for grandkids, whether Meredith is or not. So I guess some people might call the area maybe a little bit tacky with all the children's artwork and the fun little Christmas snowman decorations, but it definitely fits Sydney's personality and her love of all things that just remind her of maybe someday being a grandma and having grandkids to come over and spend time and bring her that kind of artwork and stuff. And I do have also, you'll see where we add a toy bin up right next to the fireplace in the upstairs area. So of course that's what grandma, or maybe hoping to be grandma, doesn't have that kind of stuff in, somewhere in their house. They always have that one bin of toys just in case a kid ends up coming over to hang out. So yeah, maybe Sydney does a lot of babysitting with, since she doesn't have her own grandkids, and so I thought that toy bin would be a fun little addition. And now that we're working on finishing up the rest of Meredith's bedroom, I have to say that that's probably my favorite room of the whole build. It's definitely a lot closer to my usual style of decorating and building and all that. It just has a little bit more of a modern feel. I think it definitely brings some of the city back with Meredith to her parents' home, just to let her have a little bit of her own unique style. And I absolutely love those paintings that I almost put up, but they weren't quite good for Meredith. They didn't quite match her personality, so I did go with something a little bit different. She definitely likes artsy stuff, but she's more into, I guess, fashion and that kind of thing. So I wanted to keep it kind of sleek, um, not quite so colorful, not so bright and in your face as those paintings, but oh my goodness, I have to use those somewhere because I don't think I've actually noticed them before, and I absolutely love them. So they will be coming soon in a build to a build near you, as they say. But yeah, I think I actually ended up changing out the artwork I currently have up there also, because that was still just a little too colorful and bright for her. And I absolutely love how the shelves turned out. I had so much fun picking out things that I thought were girly and fashiony and just good for Meredith and really representative of her personality. And of course, I absolutely love the platform bed also. I would love to do an actual platform bed instead of a bed on a platform, but I'm not too sure that that would even work. I don't think that the Sims would be able to sit down on a bed or use it if I have it recessed into a platform. I don't know. I'm going to have to try that out, but I don't think that it'll work, unfortunately. People have been doing a lot of really cool bunk beds, and of course the platform beds that are up on a high platform with the stairs going. Oh my goodness. People have been doing so many cool things with these platforms, and here I'm just doing a little one with a bed on it. But eventually I will be brave and try again. Oh yeah, and I also did the kitchen, or I guess the dining room area is a little bit more on a raised platform area too. So I definitely have been having some fun with them, but not quite to the level that everybody else is yet. I'm still a little bit trying to figure them out, and then I will go ahead and do something cool with them. Maybe. Another area that I had a lot of fun doing on this build was the laundry room. I usually just add the laundry areas in on like the bathroom, or yeah, there it is. So you'll see towards the end where we add quite a few more things to that little area, but I usually add the laundry room in on a bathroom or maybe in a hallway or something, but this time I decided to give it its own little area, and I think that that really fits the style of this build and just gives it a lot more personality. And I really, really love how it turned out, and I will definitely be doing those again in future builds. Another thing that I experimented with a little bit more on this build than I usually do in my other builds is the walk-in closets, or I guess the woohoo-in closets. um, they're usually a little bit too clunky for me, but I ended up liking them on this one, so I'll definitely be trying those a little bit more in the future. I don't know. They're still a little bit large, and I don't think they would work in any room, but I think the way that I had these set up, especially with the platform in Meredith's room, I think it worked well with the walk-in closet area. So I don't know, maybe I'll start working on those a little bit more, and who knows. But I really love the natural features of the landscaping surrounding this house, so I did want to keep the exterior of the house quite simple, and I wanted it to have the kind of a modern lodgy type feel to it, where it was still a little bit suburban, but it was definitely a little bit country too. So yeah, it just, I know a lot of people are doing they're doing their Christmas themed things this month in Windenburg, which is definitely a cool area for that. And we might do something there before the month is over. I don't know, but I still think that this area is just a lot better for my particular storyline that I'm kind of going with, where it's kind of like a down home Christmas kind of feel, where Christopher has come back from the military and Meredith has come back from her life in the city, and they meet, and it's just like a down home country Christmas kind of feel, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And as you can see here on the exterior of the house, once I got the rest of that stone on, it just was not working. So that is where I did go ahead and switch it over to a mostly wood pattern on the exterior. And I did want to keep the landscaping around the house to a pretty minimal, because there were so many awesome natural features, and also because in the winter a lot of the landscaping just does not look that great. So I wanted to keep it minimal just so I wouldn't have a bunch of dead plants around, and I could keep it more to the landscaping that's already outside of this particular lot. And I feel like that adds so much without having to add really too much of my own. But of course, they would have a little bit of landscaping. So I did do that, but again, it was very, very minimal compared to a lot of my other builds. Definitely compared to my overgrown cemetery in the Amityville horror build. That's quite different in contrast to this one. And I do add the exterior Christmas lights towards the end of this. I'm not sure if that one is on camera or not, but you'll be able to see it once we go into the story mode for this one. I'm not sure. I don't think that the house would come with that if you decided to download it, but you can always, of course, if you have I think it's the Seasons pack, you can go ahead and get the storage containers out and just do your own Christmas lights without any issues. And there we go. There's another area where I left my camera on pause while I was building, so you can see where I've gone ahead and switched over to the mostly brown and a little bit of the stone on the exterior of the house. And I also switched out for the Moschino, I think I'm saying that right, Moschino. The windows are changed out just because I feel like they were a little bit more modern and just fit a little bit more with the theme that I was going for. And I do go ahead and keep the door, I believe, yeah, I kept all the doors the way they were, and I might actually go back in, because as I look again at the front door, it's just a little bit not quite the color I was hoping it would be. It's weird. It looks like it's a little bit darker on the outside of the house than the inside of the house. It's not like, it doesn't look like the same tone of wood, and maybe I'm just losing my mind there. That's a very good possibility, but we might, I don't know, I might go back in and change that one out, but for now it works. I also love the nice big windows in the laundry room. I feel like it opens that space up a lot more. And as you can see, I'm adding quite a few things into that small little space. And maybe it's a little bit cluttered, but I love it that way. It's probably one of my favorite rooms. Apart from Meredith's bedroom, the laundry room is definitely a close second. And the Moschino, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But the nice big open windows, just there are so many awesome views on this lot that I feel like the bigger windows are so important to not block out any of that view, and to let the Sims living there have an awesome view of all the nature around them. And I feel like that would be important to them, especially because they have kind of a lodge type house, that nature is definitely a selling point for them. So I definitely wanted to make sure that they had as many nature views as possible. And we're actually getting pretty close to the end of this build. Just a few more bits and pieces to put out around the house. Of course, I have to have my clutter. And the kitchen definitely is going to be getting a little bit of a remodel because, again, those cabinets just were not working. I really wish that they weren't quite such a bright white. They would work so much better if they weren't such a in-your-face, bright kind of cabinet. But yeah. And of course, you can take the Christmas presents out of the build if you would like, or if you don't have the seasons pack, of course, they will not come with you because those are part of that. But I like to think that as part of the storyline, maybe Christopher and Meredith meet at a Christmas party here, because Meredith's dad, Felix, and Christopher's mom, Serena, who you guys will meet a little bit later, they actually know each other from work because Felix is a police officer and Serena is a lawyer. So the two families have had a few interactions here and there, but the two have worked together a lot more recently. So I want to have the two families have kind of a big Christmas party together, and maybe, like I said, that's where Christopher and Meredith can meet, or who's that cute guy at the holiday party? I haven't seen him before. Even maybe they just recently moved to be neighbors, or I'm not sure. We'll have to work on that storyline a little bit. So leave me a comment and let me know. Do you think that they should meet at a holiday party, or maybe they should meet at a coffee shop, or I don't know. Let me know what you think. I definitely have a few ideas for how I want the storyline to go, but I am certainly not a Christmas movie or even like a rom-com type of person. No, that's just not my kind of thing. I like Christmas horror movies like the Krampus, or what is it? One of my friends had one and it was like Santa Jaws or something. I think it's on the Shutter app, where it's like a Christmas shark movie. So yeah, I definitely will be checking that one out. So maybe we'll have to add that one in, where maybe we can have where Christopher saved her from an evil Santa shark or something. Yeah, that's definitely much more my speed than the Hallmark Christmas movies. But I actually saw it was a meme that somebody had shared on Facebook, and it was all these different the holiday movies for this year, and it was literally all the exact same looking couple, and it's just like, wow, that's a bit ridiculous. So of course I had to go and make the couple, and yeah. I guess you could say it's a little bit of a sarcastic challenge, just because it was so ridiculous how there was just absolutely no diversity in it. And it was, that's just sad. We're in 2020 and there are so many different beautiful couples that could have been showcased in that, but it was literally all just the exact same like different versions of the exact same people. And that's just not cool at all. So yeah, maybe that does mean that we need to feed them to a shark. I'm really starting to like the idea of feeding them to a shark. So I don't they have oh, what is it, the shark pond that we can, maybe we'll have to put that somewhere on the property so that we can feed somebody to a shark. I mean, it is not Christmas unless somebody gets eaten by a shark. I'm calling it right now. That's just we're not gonna have Christmas without any shark tragedies. So maybe they'll have to take a honeymoon trip to Sulani or somewhere so we can try to find some sharks, because Christmas just needs sharks. I just have sharks on the brain now. And but back to the build. We're just finishing up a little bit of clutter, and that is pretty much it. And Oh yeah, you can see where I've added in the ping pong table, and I think that this is where we go ahead and finish up the, oh, I need to fix that window. I didn't even notice that. That is one thing. Um, Man, my attention span is just garbage sometimes, and I definitely miss things. So I do apologize if there are things that I have missed. I definitely put effort into my builds, but sometimes my brain just doesn't work properly. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so it's just finishing up, adding in a few more finishing touches, and that is just about it for this build. And I do believe that this is where I go ahead and change out those cabinets because I just got so sick of looking at them. They are, man, I mean, look at that. You can't even really tell that those are, oh yeah, here we go. And this is much better. And I actually do go ahead and change the paint color. I think I changed it to more of like a wallpapery thing going on. And of course, you can always change that too. You can change anything in my builds if you want, really, if you decide to download them. I am totally okay with that. And in fact, I would love to see any changes that you make because, yeah, I love all the different ideas. That's one of my favorite things in the morning is just to get up and look at Twitter at all the different things people have built. So yeah, by all means, please change my builds if you want and then show me because it'll probably be really cool. So yeah, we are pretty much at the end of this build. So I will go ahead and stop rambling, and I apologize if my voice has been kind of crap. The weather has been really getting to me, so my voice is a little bit scratchy, so I do apologize for that. But enough of me rambling, and we are almost at the screenshots. So I will see you guys in our video on Saturday, and have a happy December. Bye.